Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of your favorite talk show, Bahrain Now. With me, your host, Bara Abdallah. We've got a great show lined up full of local talents, initiatives, and happenings from around the island. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, the Hope Ventures is the support for youth projects and initiatives, which is considered as hope for all Bahrainis, and everyone should work together in the spirit of Team Bahrain to reach the noble goals aimed at monitoring national skills and competencies to support youth ideas and skills and enable them to achieve success. Today with us in the studio itself is the General Manager of the Hope Ventures, Fajr Al-Pachichi. How are you?
Hi, thank you, Bara. I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm great. Pretty much, as I wrote the intro before and read it several times, I'm like, this is Fajr. It's happening. We're going to make this happen. It's the great new hope that we have here in Bahrain.
Definitely.
So how are you? How you been?
I've been great. Thank you, Bara. It's a pleasure to be here to introduce Hope Ventures. Hope Ventures is the investment arm of Hope Fund. We are looking to foster an entrepreneurial mindset and culture across Bahrain. Our main goal is to see the emergence of local success stories emerging. It's to create a new generation of entrepreneurs entering the ecosystem and supporting the existing entrepreneurs that currently exist across Bahrain. We want entrepreneurship to be embedded into the education system. We want them to be talked about within households, promoted by parents, encouraging their children to actually pursue entrepreneurship as a potential career path. And we want it to be talked about within the community itself. So this is generally our vision in embedding an entrepreneurship culture and mindset across the nation.
I love that. I mean, it's so beautiful how we're seeing what's happening right now in Bahrain, as there was a time that we were so focused into the educational stuff from an academic point of view. But now we get to see that a lot of Bahrainis getting into the investment mode of things and how to get new ideas and go international with it. So this is a beautiful approach for everything. So what kind of businesses or ideas are you focusing on right now?
Sure. So honestly, I'll take a step back. I'll talk about what Hope Ventures is doing, and then I'll talk about how we select potential entrepreneurs to invest into. Under Hope Ventures, we focus on three key pillars. First is knowledge building. It is extremely important to ensure that all locals have access to the right knowledge, mentorship, resources and tools to be able to either develop their ideas into business concepts or to grow their existing businesses, not only locally but regionally as well. So a key pillar that we'll be focusing on within Hope Ventures is knowledge building. Then we look at equity investment. Our ultimate mandate as Hope Ventures, we are an equity investment partner. We will be selecting candidates based on two things: the founder themselves. So the founder should be motivated, hardworking, ambitious, and very likely to succeed. So they need to embed or encompass the entrepreneurial traits that you would expect. So risk-taking, visionary, ability to identify a unique business idea and grow that business idea. So one is the founder themselves, and they are actually at the core of any entrepreneurial ecosystem worldwide. The second aspect is the business model. Do they have a unique value proposition? Is there high potential for growth of their business idea? Are they able to scale their business? Are they competing against other existing businesses within the market? So we identify and we couple the founder capabilities with the business model, and then we select the right entrepreneurs or businesses to invest into with the most likeliness to succeed down the road. And then, of course, we have our third pillar, which is opportunity facilitation. We, as Hope, our role is to pave the road throughout the entrepreneurial journey. However, the hard work is done by the entrepreneur. What we are doing is we're leveraging our relationships, both government and private, to open up doors. It's purely opening up doors, both locally and then regionally. We want to see these local entrepreneurs pursue their ideas, grow their businesses, grow their business lines, and then expand even beyond Bahrain. So our vision is big.
Right. That is amazing. I mean, like to a point right now, it's just so exciting and to see what's happening right now in Bahrain, all the new ventures and the new ideas and new initiatives all taking place. I mean, to some point, it's like there's so much going on, it's a bit too fast. It's like, oh my God, there's so much opportunity, so much potential taking place. And it's just such a blessing, I would say, to have this going on right now here in Bahrain. So now, not only you're helping people to get on their feet, you're actually educating them, you're putting the culture right there. So now I guess there's certain ideas you would say, you know, it's been done, been there, done that, but now there are new ideas you want to focus on, I guess, a new approach. So can you focus more on that right now?
Yeah. So in Hope Ventures, I think just to reiterate what we do, we facilitate. We expect the hard work to be done by the founders themselves. So we are purely a facilitator. We provide access to all nationals to get access to knowledge, resources, tools. But at the end of the day, it is all up to the founder, and it's up to the business opportunity that they bring forward. So we want to ensure that there is equal opportunity, that we reward merit. So if they are high performers, if they are motivated, if they showcase this, then we will invest into that. As a fund, we're sector agnostic, and we look at businesses and entrepreneurs that are across the entrepreneurial journey. So we focus mainly on idea stage and growth stage. And if you look at the programs that will be rolling out for the remainder of this year, they are primarily focused on the very early stage and the growth stage of an entrepreneurial journey.
Amazing, amazing. Now, I can think of a lot of people right now, the moment they hear this, I'm like, okay, great. How can we apply?
Yes.
Where can we go? So how can anybody apply?
Fantastic question. Honestly, we have already launched all our social media channels. So they can reach out to us through our social media handles, or they could visit our website on hopefund.bh, where they can apply directly, or they could contact us. We do have a dedicated team who will be responding to all inward inquiries to determine where that entrepreneur is, what sort of programs they require, and then we would guide them into the right program that they would need.
I can only imagine how excited you are right now with all of this. Definitely, like how the future is going to take place and all that. And I'm sure you're seeing things that a lot of people are not seeing right now. Like, you know, to a certain point that we know things are going to get progressive and going to get even more exciting. And I would say to a very high level that everybody wants to leverage with. But I'm seeing that they're seeing stuff like you're way more excited about it than anybody else, which I really appreciate and all of that. So any teasers you can give us about what's going to happen in the future, or just keep it right now until we get surprised?
Listen, but it's an exciting opportunity. I think this is a fantastic initiative that will really support and see the emergence of new entrepreneurs, and really hone and support the existing entrepreneurs that are in the market. What we're trying to do is we're trying to listen to the market, identify where the opportunities are, and then we're catering programs to further enhance and develop the market. A teaser is that we recently launched our first bootcamp. It's called Bidaya. Bidaya is targeted at idea stage entrepreneurs. Those entrepreneurs who have a good idea, who want to try to pursue their idea and turn it into a business concept. We will be picking or selecting 40 entrepreneurs to go through a 1-month program. Where they can refine their concept, they could build their business plans, they'll have access to the right mentors, resources, tools, experts, and at the end of the boot camp, they'll have the opportunity to pitch their idea to a selection committee for investment. And that's really the turning point. It's identifying which one of the entrepreneurs that entered the boot camp has showcased that they are motivated, ambitious, and they have a business model that is likely to succeed. And only at the end of that boot camp, we would come in and potentially invest into those select entrepreneurs.
Amazing.
Of course, that's one boot camp. We are, and it's really focused to idea stage. We'll be launching over the course of the next week a second boot camp. And the second boot camp will be targeted at Instagram and social media-based businesses. Which is, and it's an exciting opportunity because I think myself, yourself, we go on Instagram, we scroll all day, and there are businesses who are generating revenues, who have great business ideas, but they just haven't received the support to institutionalize their ideas. So this second bootcamp will run a similar process where they will have 1 month access to mentors, experts, resources and tools. And then at the completion of that boot camp, again, they will pitch their ideas to a selection committee for potential investment. So now we have two boot camps, one targeted at idea stage, one targeted at late idea stage where they've already received market traction.
Right.
And then, of course, the big bang is Biban.
Biban, okay. Let's go. Biban.
Yes, Biban is our first initiative to be launched. It is targeted at growth stage entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And Biban is going to be an entrepreneurial TV show. It will allow 12 diverse, promising entrepreneurs to pitch to a panel of investors.
Okay.
Of course, we'll be running 4 different episodes catering to 4 sectors, which are retail, manufacturing, F&B, and technology. And at the course of their pitching, the entrepreneurs will receive immediate investment. Should the investor want to invest into that entrepreneur.
Wow.
Biban is interesting. It's the first of its kind in Bahrain where you get immediate investment on a TV show, but it really highlights the importance of local entrepreneurs with great ideas who have already received market traction and now are looking to expand their products and business not only locally but regionally. There is a high potential for these entrepreneurs to actually grow and grow beyond Bahrain's borders, and this is really why we've generated or launched Biban.
This is amazing.
Yep.
The idea, the concept, a TV show for the investors, a panel of investors, and we just march in and say, hey, here's my idea, let's make it happen.
Yep.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that. I mean, the ideas, Biban, Bidai, the boot camps, and all of that, it's a great initiative for all Bahrainis over here. Again, it's a blessing, to be honest with that. Now, with all that being said, I mean, wow, exciting times. I can only think right now, a lot of people are like, let's go, let's go. The TV show, I can't wait for that. Honestly, I just want to see that. And you never know, I think we're going to go international. Definitely.
Yep.
Globally. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
So any last words to your viewers?
I think this is a great opportunity. I am extremely excited about this initiative. We've seen the potential from the market today. We have open doors at Hope Ventures. We want to listen to the community. We want to understand what sort of opportunities are actually out there, what type of ideas are potentially being thought about. And then we want to cater our programs to support the success of these ideas and of these existing businesses. Of course, the hard work is on the founder themselves. We will be selecting the entrepreneurs who will be investing into as a fund. However, we want to ensure that everyone across the kingdom has access to the right knowledge, the right resources, the right tools to be able to have the opportunity to present their idea to Hope Ventures. So I think my one last words is, we're here. We want to hear from you. Reach out to us, and we have a dedicated team to support you and guide you into the right programs for you to develop your business concept further.
Definitely exciting times are ahead with us right here. Thank you so much for being with us here on Bahrain Now. Much appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you, Bara.
Pleasure. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Hope Ventures. You heard it yourself from Fajr right here. Took place an interview on Bahrain Now. Exciting times for us all, ladies and gentlemen. So don't miss out with Hope Ventures. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with a dynamic initiative established in Bahrain which supports women empowerment and preserve women's voice in the country, led by leading women power. With us in the studio is Mary Justine Todd and Noor Turani to tell us more about the initiative. Well, good evening.
Hi, thanks for having us. We're happy to be here.
A pleasure.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Pleasure. So tell us more about Shamsaha.
Sure. So Shamsaha is a not-for-profit organization that I established here in Bahrain in 2016. And the idea is to offer empowerment and protection to women. Specifically, we focus on sometimes some of the more challenging problems that women might face at home, things like domestic violence or sexual harassment, things like that.
Wow, wow. So you have a great mission going on here and pretty much a busy life taking place right now.
Yeah, there's a lot happening actually. Shamsa has 3 primary mandates. The first thing that we do is we provide 24-hour support 7 days a week for victims of this type of abuse that I mentioned. And we do that via 2 telephone hotlines. So we have one hotline that operates in English and one that operates in Arabic. And again, it's 24/7 and totally free and confidential for any woman who needs support in this area. The second thing that we do is we provide casework. So any woman who needs sort of ongoing care or support in the weeks or months following that type of incident, we're there to provide that as well. And the third thing is community education and outreach. So we do things like this, you know, talking about the program, spreading awareness, building attention around the issue.
Wow, so I guess you have a strong community right now supporting the cause. Tell us more about that.
We do. We're very lucky. Shamsa's community is made up of our volunteers who are honestly our bedrock. We have around 140 registered volunteers with us here in Bahrain.
Amazing.
Bahrainis and non-Bahrainis. And they dedicate time away from their loved ones, from their life, to operate the 2 helplines that Mary Justine was talking about in English and Arabic. So we operate 24 hours, 7 days a week, which means that we have our shifts from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And because we have 2 helplines, it means that at any given time, we have 4 women who are on shift, on duty, waiting to answer a call from anyone who's in distress and anyone who's in crisis.
And you might ask, well, what happens once they receive that call?
Right.
And what the advocacy is it's 2 primary things. It's emotional support and logistic support.
Right.
And they're equally important. And so what the emotional support piece means is it's really simple. Someone's just there to say, we're sorry that this is happening to you, you don't deserve it. And the logistic piece is, okay, you need to go to the hospital, let me tell you where to go. Okay, if you want to go to this hospital,
Police
here's the
station,
address.
yeah.
If it's the police station, we help them find the right police station. We'll send them a taxi. We get them all the information and we support them logistically. We'll meet them at the police station or at the hospital. We might pay the medical bills. We'll help advocate with them at the police. Whatever it is that they need, we make sure that we act as the bridge between the crisis and the healing after the crisis.
Yeah.
Before I even carry on, I want to say thank you so much. It's
You're
amazing.
welcome.
I can imagine the amount of strength and patience you have to have.
It is, and this is why our advocates, who are our volunteers, undergo rigorous training. They undergo 40-hour training before they even sign up for a shift, because we're dealing with human beings with real crisis.
Sensitive topic, so they have to be properly trained.
They have to be properly trained how to respond when they are in the situation, how to support the client. And one of the most important things that we do is in crisis advocacy, as opposed to counseling, is we never give advice. Because, because we don't want to do what the perpetrator or the abuser is doing to the woman. He is basically taking her strength away.
Right.
So if we tell her what to do, where to go, how to handle it, then we're taking away her decision-making power, which is why it's really important that our role is support and providing information. So whoever reaches out to us, we give them all the necessary information, what they can do in their situation, and then it's up to her to make that decision. And that empowers them.
And people often ask us, well, what should we do?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And in that case, we just will go through them, the options. We'll look at the pros and the cons of each option. And now, sometimes women might make decisions that, like, as a person, like personally, we might not agree with, but that's okay. We have to respect their decision-making authority, like Noor said. And it's okay for us to say something like, now, I understand that you need to go back home, but I'm concerned about your safety.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what we can do in case this happens again. Yeah. Instead of saying, no, you can't go back home. Don't do that.
Exactly.
You know, we never say that. It's just, let's talk about how you can stay safe in case this happens again.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of mental power. I mean, just to be calm, to receive the person,
Let me
to
just
receive
tell
the
you,
phone call.
we had volunteers last night on duty actively with clients at the police station until, I don't know, from 2 a.m.
From 2 a.m.
till about 10 a.m.
Till 10 a.m. From 2 a.m. in the morning till 10 a.m.
And alhamdulillah, always the authorities, the police, everyone is very supportive, and they really support the mission, and they always support the victims. But sometimes going to, for example, a police station is really intimidating and scary.
Right.
And sometimes victims, they don't want to tell anybody.
Totally.
They don't want anyone to know.
Yeah.
So it's better one of our advocates can go with them just to hold their hand, walk them
Yeah.
through the process, make sure that they have everything that they need, make sure they're asking the questions that they have on their mind,
Yeah.
just to support them.
And that's a key tenet of advocacy. It's to be there for them, advocate for her when maybe she can't really advocate for herself. Because if you're going through a crisis, your brain, you're not really thinking clearly, is it? Like you're not looking at A, B, C, D. And that's what we're here for.
When you're going through a crisis, what happens in the brain is it's like a fire alarm.
Exactly.
There's chaos in your brain,
Totally.
and you have to have someone with you to help calm it down, prioritize, look at the accessible steps 1, 2, and 3. And then in the weeks and months following the incident, like I said, we provide the casework, which is longer term things. For example, referral to legal support. Maybe it's counselors. Maybe it's further medical care. Maybe it's family budgeting and planning. We help with school issues with the children, job
employment
support.
growth.
And
Exactly.
actually, I should mention, we just launched the Shine Center in Shamsaha office, which is supported by the Aisha and Yusuf Al Mayed Charity Foundation.
The Yusuf and Aisha Al Mayed
Yusuf and
Foundation.
Aisha. And it's in our Shine Center, which is also in our office in the Bahrain Financial Harbor, which was also sponsored by the Bahrain Financial Harbor.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So that's also part of our community that you
Right.
spoke of earlier. We have our volunteers who are amazing, and then of course we have our clients. But then another really important part of the Shamsa community is our sponsors, because at the end of the day, we are a non-profit organization, and we operate through the very generous support of all our sponsors in Bahrain. Like she said, we have the Yusuf and Aisha Al Muayyad Foundation. The Bahrain Financial Harbor have very generously given us an office. It's a 5-year lease.
Amazing.
And one of the other initiatives that we have, which is under our community awareness and our economic empowerment, programs, is the microfinance and economic empowerment program, which is again sponsored by the National Bank of Bahrain. So,
and what that does is it helps women to build skills and gain skills, and sometimes start to earn an income for even the first time ever.
yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, and it kind of creates a full circle for our advocacy, because you have the women who go through our crisis advocacy, and then the casework, which is long-term,
Helps them get back
goal-based.
on their feet.
Yeah, and then we
Right.
go through the economic empowerment program, which, like MJ said, some of them are making money, generating income for the first time ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
That must be a crazy feeling right there, just to see them.
It is. It is. It is. It
And,
is.
I mean, listening to this right now, it really warms my heart and makes me feel that we are definitely in a great place right now. I mean, the amount of time that I heard a lot of people, including myself, where, people will approach us, a lot of women in our family and even friends. And then, as you said, we gave advice.
Yeah.
That wasn't really the smartest move.
And it's done often, but it's done for the right reasons, but with the wrong effect. And actually, you bring up a good point. The World Health Organization estimates that 1 in 3 women at some point in their life will be victims of abuse. So I promise you, there are women in your family or in your friend circle that have been victimized in the past.
Yes.
And so just doing things like this, talking about it, bringing awareness, try to reduce the stigma, reduce the shame. Let's say out loud, there's no shame in this, right? If you have been abused by someone, you haven't done something wrong. And we're here to make sure that the women know that, because it can be really, really embarrassing and feel very shameful for women.
I can only imagine how much you're exposed to with all the knowledge and what you have to learn in the process, and where you started and where you are at today. If you don't mind me asking, how do you see yourselves now compared to when you started?
Well, I'll just say when we started, we started with one idea in my head and $0. Absolutely $0. But I'm happy to say we've come very far in the last 6 years. And I'll let Noor tell you about the expansion, about where we're going from here.
Yeah, so what we're doing right now is we're expanding our crisis advocacy program throughout the Middle East and the GCC. Yes, it's a massive undertaking,
It is.
but we're very proud of it. And what we're essentially doing is we're exporting the Bahrain model, because we've been very lucky to have Shamsaha start in Bahrain, because our environment, our legislation, our programs, our initiatives, the government support for advancing women, protecting women, and empowering women is unlike anywhere else in the region.
Absolutely, it's a model for the region.
It's absolutely a model. And so what we're doing with the success that we've had in Bahrain, we're going to export this Bahrain model. And our expansion project is through 2 phases. Our first phase is a virtual expansion, and it's going to be driven by our new mobile application, which inshallah is going to be launched later this year. Inshallah.
Inshallah.
And
No, it will be.
It will be.
It will be.
Inshallah it will.
Yeah, inshallah.
It will be.
And so that will be our virtual expansion, which will make our crisis advocacy services available to potentially millions of women around the Middle East. And our second phase of our regional expansion project is an in-person crisis advocacy, so on-the-ground operations. And the way we're doing that is we are partnering up with existing organizations in Emirates, in Saudi, in Kuwait, in Oman.
Focusing first on the GCC.
Focusing first on the GCC, and then inshallah expanding even more. So that's how we're doing our in-person.
And I should say that this has all been made possible by an incredibly generous grant from the L'Oreal Foundation for Women. They're supporting the expansion project for us over the next 2 years.
Yeah, it's a 24-month project, and
That's beautiful. I mean, definitely as they see people as experienced as you are right now, I'm sure like everybody wants to jump in and just support you because you're changing lives.
Inshallah. Anybody watching, come on.
Exactly.
No, definitely, let's go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we all should support you because you're protecting and changing lives.
Yeah.
You're supporting and protecting women. And as I see the passion in your voices and I hear it and I see how you're really into it and all that, I can tell that a lot of challenges do actually as well come along with all of this.
Yes. A little bit, you know, not that much. I think our main challenge would be as a nonprofit is funding, isn't it? It's always going to be, and that's the main challenge with every nonprofit organization around the world.
But it's growing every day. We're getting more and more, both individual and corporate sponsorships. And like Noor said, the environment in Bahrain is extremely welcoming, and everybody's been really supportive. In fact, in the beginning, the challenges that I had anticipated were more of an ideological nature. I thought that people might oppose it on an ideological basis, but in fact, no, it was really, I was welcomed with open arms to start this program. I will say my husband, who has been in Bahrain for 20 years, he would say to me every day, Habibti, shway shway, this is not New York. Shway shway, this is not New York. So I mean, I followed his lead and learned from him, and then recruited really wonderful, supportive, fantastic, smart Bahrainis like Noor and other people to really build it from the ground up.
Well, on behalf of Bahrain, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much for starting the project and making it happen and just bringing up this beautiful initiativity, definitely. And the word Shamsaha. I love that.
You like that?
I love it. I mean,
Do you want to talk about it?
Yes.
She loves talking about it.
So when we first started, our name was Women's Crisis Care International, WCCI, and 2 years ago, with the support of Unisono Agency, we went through a rebranding process, and we chose the name Shamsaha because we wanted it to reflect who we are. We are like the sun, right? We are her sun, right? We are bright, we are warm, we are everlasting, we are powerful, we are available for all. But it's also, we want to focus on the positive outcomes. We don't want to focus on the pain and the suffering, which is there and it's real, but we want to bring women to the shiny side.
Right,
you know?
bright future.
Yeah, and we wanted to really root it also in Arabic culture and change the name to an Arabic word.
Yeah.
Wow.
And a lot of, just to add to that, because a lot of what we do, especially our volunteers, our programs, is rooted in the Bahraini Arab Islamic culture, and that's very important for us, especially as we move across the GCC. Even for simple things like our training, our advocacy trainings, it is based on an international model. However, we have changed aspects of it, amended aspects of it to align with our Arab identity, with our Bahraini identity.
To fit the context
exactly,
of the region.
Yeah, with our Islamic identity. So it's really important for us.
I mean, now, which I know is going to happen, sooner or later. And even earlier, I wish I knew about this earlier. I could have saved myself a lot of time and not giving the wrong advice. But now I guess for the future, it's like, hey, Bara, I have something to say. Wait, Shamsa, hi. Talk to them.
Well, we have 2 hotline numbers available, English and
Yeah.
Arabic, 24/7. So you're welcome to call on behalf of a friend if you ever know somebody
Definitely.
who's being abused.
Definitely.
And please share the number as well. It's
Definitely.
free and available, open to all women, and 100% confidential.
100%
Really appreciate you
confidential.
for that.
We really take our confidentiality and our privacy terms very seriously, so that,
Wow.
yeah.
So, and I would say to all women listening, there's no obligation. So if anyone needs to call, there's not going to be any outcome or any consequence if they change their mind or if they decide it's not the right time. No problem. You can
Okay.
hang up and call us again another
Yeah.
day.
Really appreciate you and appreciate your team. Big shout out to your team
Thank
for the
you.
Thank you.
amazing
They're
efforts.
the best.
Definitely,
They're the
and
best.
so you are.
Thank
So
you.
are you, definitely for doing an amazing job. Well, thank you so much for being with us here on Bahrain Now. We definitely feel safer.
Thank
for having
you.
us.
We hope so. Yeah.
Great pleasure. Great pleasure.
Thanks.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I took the pride actually to even have this conversation with the members of Shamsa as it took place right here on Bahrain Now. Established in 2019, Roots and Shoots Organic Farm is built up over 12,000 square meters of land off the Hamala Avenue. They are a local community-supported agriculture initiatives dedicated to producing organic and sustainable food at an affordable price for Bahrain. They grow a wide variety of crops, and it is the diversity that translates the sustainability founded by Chef Susie Massetti. Together with her family, the organic farm thrives on her vision of bringing farm fresh to table, which has turned to reality through the family's hard work. And to talk to us more about her beautiful journey is the manager of Roots and Shoots Organic Farm, Miss Andrea Bucciarelli. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
Definitely. Thank you so much for being with us here today. Tell us more about the farm.
So the original idea of the farm was almost like a life passion for my mother. And she just really wanted to have something organic, sustainable, regenerative, and a way to give back to Bahrain, because we've been here quite a long time.
Okay.
Bahrain has always taken care of us, so we
Beautiful.
want to offer kind of what we can back to the community.
Amazing. How long have you been here for?
13 years.
13 years. Bahraini.
Yeah.
That's it. So it started off that way, and you have, I would say, a personal relation to the project itself.
Yeah, well, besides the fact that obviously when a dream comes like from our parents, you know, like mother's dream or a father's dream, it almost lives through us. If
Okay.
we love it, if we also care to participate. And for me, it's the thing of like, Bahrain is home. I love being outdoors. I love nature. Okay, the weather can be a little bit difficult sometimes, but it's okay, you
the
know.
humidity, we get
So,
it.
I mean, it's like a personal sauna, so it's
Yeah.
fine. But it's just been really nice to learn about the farming culture here, about the natural flora and fauna, and, you know, seeing like all the migratory birds that come over the island, and getting in touch with, you know, ecologists
Wow.
and biologists of Bahrain, Bahraini people who are studying these things and who have had that fed into them by their family, and then being able to take the knowledge that they want to share with me. It's just really awesome. You know, like it's a really cool side of Bahrain that I never noticed until this last year.
Wow, wow. I mean, listening to you right now, it's like she is one of the lucky ones to get to
Thanks.
have her hands into a green project. You know, it's sustainable, it's healthy, and it definitely brings up this beautiful positive energy. You can even hear it in the way you talk. I'm like,
Thanks.
yes, this is it. So now, as I read in the intro, 12,000 square meters.
Yeah.
So you start with that, or there's a story behind it?
So originally we were looking to move house. We just
Okay.
wanted another house, and we
Okay.
wanted, you know, maybe 2,000-3,000 square meters of farmland for my mother's new restaurant. And we had been looking for months, and we couldn't find farmland that was clean, that was pure virgin earth, that hadn't been, you know, pesticide treated or
Right.
fertilized, things like that. So we ended up kind of giving up. And then, of course, as Bahrain works, a friend of a friend of a friend,
That's how it is.
was like, I have a piece of land that I'm not using anymore.
Okay.
Would you be interested?
Huh.
And we went and looked at it, and actually it was like the weekend majlis.
Okay.
They hung out on the farm after going boating on the weekends. And it had, a building. I wouldn't call it a house, but it was
Okay.
a building. And we redid it, we refurbished it, we moved in, and then we started working on the land. And it just kind of worked out. The nice thing is I got to bring my horses with me because we
Amazing.
had all the space. And now we have, I don't know, a couple hundred chickens, about 50 ducks, 2 horses, 4 goats, 6 dogs, a tortoise that lives somewhere in the garden, and 1 dove or 1 pigeon that's decided to live with us as well. So.
Interesting story.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, before we would go on even with the project, how is your daily life? Like you wake up and you have this entire ecosystem surround you. I mean, how does it feel to be part of that project?
Well, I mean, daily life, I think I was already working outdoors previously. So for me, it's kind of like being outside and being in the green, being in nature is already pretty normal for me.
Okay.
But right now in the summer, we wake up late and we work mostly in the evenings because it's too hot, it's too humid. But when the season picks up, we're up pretty early in the morning, and the most important part of the day is getting up and having a look through the garden, seeing what's growing, what's not growing, what's healthy, what's not healthy, right? So every day it's just walking up and down in the garden and having a look. It's really a lot about looking and listening to the plants,
Wow. 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 Beautiful. Looking and listening to the plants. So you just have like a friendship, a relationship, even with all the plants and
Yeah.
everything around there. And you have to pretty much every day around the 12,000 square meters, you have to pretty much take a lab, see what's going on.
Yeah.
How do you deal with the weather? I mean, it keeps changing, and the humidity. I mean, how do you deal with that?
I sweat a lot.
Okay. Okay.
So, yeah.
Obviously, Captain Obvious. It's
Yeah.
very hot.
So it's it really, there's no dealing with it. You just do.
Okay.
You drink lots of water. The best thing is to use local limes and trini. Put them in your water. Make sure you're getting salt, and make sure you stay out of the shade. Keep your head covered. That's pretty much all you can do. So again, luckily, I have experience already working outdoors. It doesn't affect me as much as it does the average person. But the most important thing actually for me and our staff is that we're constantly checking in with ourselves to make sure we're feeling okay. Do we need to sit down? Do we need to hydrate? Maybe we need to, cool off, go sit indoors for a few minutes. And that's it. It's, just kind of taking it one step at a time and being careful not to get sunstroke.
Amazing, amazing. I mean, at some point in my life, actually, watching series and all that, and I get to see that, I'm like, one day I would love to do that, go over there and just enjoy a life that actually you're living right now. This is amazing. So do you have like kind of a community activities as well taking place over there?
Yeah, so you were just saying, like, we do have volunteers. We have quite a lot. We do have quite a big group of people who would just, decide to come and help us out, whether it's working with the animals on the farm, working with us. Maybe they want to learn how to garden for their own home, which we welcome, obviously. The main thing that we try to do is to encourage people to grow their own food. And for the people who can't, we encourage them to come and see how it's really done with us.
Okay, so I can actually just, pass by
Yep.
and just enjoy how it is.
Yep.
Would love that. I would love it. Do you have certain schedules or timings for that?
We do, of course, because we work kind of when the sun is up and when the sun is down,
Okay.
So most of the time our tours and things like that are a little bit in the later afternoon now because of
Okay.
the heat.
Okay.
But during the winter season, we're actually open all day.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. All right, so now, are you planning to expand your operations, or are we okay right now? Just like, you're doing an assessment. Where are you at right now?
So obviously, to just get more land and more land and more land is
Okay.
not the way we really want to go. What we would really love to do is to have partnerships or sister farms around
Okay.
the island. not under us, because we can't manage 10 farms. You know, it's not feasible.
It's a lot of work.
So it would be amazing if there was a sister farm in, you know, in Ali or
Right.
in Rifa or
Okay.
in Maharrag. You know, like if there were other places that were coming to us for education and then doing the same initiative elsewhere.
Okay.
That would be the goal, because then it means the whole island has sustainable organic produce. So
I love the sound of this, because, you know, as you're presenting the idea and the project itself, it's not like every day we get to hear about how people go out there and, you know, preserve, or I would say create their own ecosystem that's sustainable, you know,
Yeah.
which we were such indulge in the consuming behavior, in the sense like we just consume, but where it comes to the time that we need to learn ourselves how to have our own sustainable ecosystem, just the backyard, I think it's brilliant. It's
Yeah.
amazing. And as you took this initiative, do you think Bahrain is pretty much going to be more approaching to that kind of stuff as well?
from what I've seen, there's been loads of people who have reached out just because they have, you know, they say, oh, I'd really love to grow, but all I have is a balcony. And it's like,
Okay.
well, I can teach you how to grow on a balcony.
Okay.
You know, like you can't produce a supermarket full of food, but you can produce at least some bare essentials. I think the interest is coming out in my generation.
Amazing.
And I hope that it continues. You know, there's more and more
Right.
places I see opening up, more and more places that want to have their own gardens for their own businesses. And I think even if it's a tiny garden, you know, a couple square meters, it's better than nothing.
True, true. I always thought of having my own little garden, but now hearing what you're doing as well, I'm like, you know, let's get started. Definitely. Well, thank you so much for being with us here
Thank
on
you.
Bahrain Now. Much appreciative, and an amazing idea, and pretty much we're proud to have a project like yours here in Bahrain.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Roots and Shoots, an amazing project right here on Bahrain. And don't forget, check it out. Do give it a visit. You might actually be inspired to have your own sustainable project ecosystem right there at your backyards. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was here on Bahrain Now. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap for another great episode of Bahrain Now. As usual, be sure to reach us out on our social media accounts shown below, and stay tuned for more exciting segments on Bahrain Now. This was Bara Abdallah. Till next time, Bahrain. Good night and God bless.